So Francesco, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming all this way. So Francesco Sartini is joining us from BlueIT, in Italy. So BlueIT, I understand it helps companies digitally transform with sustainability in mind. I think a lot of people talk about sustainability because it's like, babies, right? Everybody loves it's good, right? Nobody wants to say they don't want to be more sustainable. Maybe you can talk about what you're doing at BlueIT and what your role in that is.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, BlueIT is an IT outsourcing company which is focused mainly on managed services, but we are also a benefit company, so we feel very comfortable with these sustainability topics. And exactly going in the direction of being sustainable, we are convinced that the business must be profitable and sustainable. So in conjunction with the partnership of IBM, we have introduced this tool because the key topic here is that we are not sure we can save the world with the reduction of the IT environment. That's probably what we cannot do. Our customers are looking for additional resources, are looking for additional data center and stuff like this. But what we really can do is to reduce in an efficient way the number of resources used by our infrastructures. And as I said before, in BlueIT, what we have adopted is using mainly, someone of you are familiar with Turbonomic, Instana, set of tools that can give us the chance to have a very intense view of the IT environment of the customers from the application layer to the infrastructure layer, so we can proactively manage all the resources involved in the IT services, and we can reduce waste, and we can also keeping balance between resources, the right size of resources, and the application performance, which is crucial for this, let's say, carbon footprint reduction. This is the big challenge that we have today, and this is what we are dealing with the partnership with IBM.
That's great. It's really exciting to see you evolve from just running your clients' operations and data centers to helping them optimize and be more sustainable and effective along the way. Maybe you could elaborate a little bit on some of the specific benefits your clients have seen in these examples.
Well, what we did is really moving from the traditional IT operations to the AI ops, so the real operations supported by AI tools. And again, Turbonomics and Instana are probably one of the examples, the most relevant examples from this point of view. And what we did is a real intelligent automation project, because we completely changed the mindset of our organization, because we changed the set of services provided to the customers, because with these tools we can enlarge the topics of to be provided to the customer. Imagine, for example, that we as a managed services IT infrastructure people, we were not able to combine information from monitoring for what is concerning the infrastructure and the application. With Instana, we can combine these two views, application and infrastructure. But we also change in the sense that we are more effective on the market, because IT outsourcing unfortunately sounds like such a kind of commodities for the time being. So we can really differentiate our offer on the market, being one of the first one adopting this AI ops approach. Finally, for our employees, because one of the big advantages of adopting these AI tools is that we can reduce the repetitive task, we can reduce the low-profile task. So really, our people can be focused on creating value for the customer. As we say, the crucial challenge to our customer is the digital transformation, but also the sustainability topics. Let me say, from a certain point of view, there is no better period of being an IT outsourcer, because it's amazing. We are in front of the customer. I never expect to be in front of the customer talking about, sustainability, carbon footprint, FinOps approach. This is something that it was not possible, let me say, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I think that the FinOps point you brought up is a really hot topic these days. I see a lot of heads nodding. You know, it's, as I mentioned in my talk in the beginning, the hyperscaler cloud spend is just enormous, right? And it's getting to the point. In fact, I read an article by Andreessen and Horowitz, who's a Bay Area VC. You probably know them. They put out thought leadership articles. I think it's probably a controversial one, but it was called the $1 trillion paradox, and they talked about repatriation of workloads to on-prem because of this problem. But I think with the technologies and approaches you're described, it doesn't need to be that way, right? We can get this thing under control. So that's really great. Maybe one of the other things the audience might be curious about is, to realize these benefits, what was the time to value? Like, how hard was it to get this stuff up and running and to get your first quick win? And how did you like scale it and build on that momentum?
Well, first of all, we are absolutely proud of the results that we achieve for our clients. Let me put in this way. What you mentioned is really a key topic for what we did. One of the, let me say, measurement that we deploy in the very first customer that we deploy Turbonomic. You know, Turbonomic is very easy from a setup standpoint. So in few clicks you can have data collected, and Turbonomic starts, you know, suggesting improvement for your IT infrastructure. That's what Turbonomic is doing. And the very first time we deploy this for the customer, it was such a kind of pilot, let me put in this way. And the interesting thing is that immediately after the setup, we realized that customer has 10% of overestimated resources, so they can immediately reduce 10% of the resources, so they can really be more effective, as I said before, also from a sustainability standpoint. And it was such a kind of wow effect for the customer, because it was something, I mean, they never imagined could be possible. To give you another example is about mean time to resolve. Mean time to resolve is the moment between the problem rise and the moment in which the problem is fixed. And you know, in some cases, because of the complexity of the environment of the customer, it could have impact on you know, business, money, and stuff like this. So we significantly reduce the mean time to recover, because for one simple reason, because basically the root cause analysis is directly made by tools. So we use this, for example, Istana can support you in understanding where the problem is, which database is impacted, which query is broken, and stuff like this. So we can really support the automated root cause analysis, so that we can really go focusing on solving the problem. We calculate the reduction of this mean time to recover, and we discovered that we have 50% reduction in the mean time to recover for using this AI Ops approach.
Wow. Yeah, and that combination of Instana and Turbonomic is really powerful, because it brings the full stack tracing and the root cause analysis with the capacity consideration, which is what Turbonomic is doing. 50%, that's a really fantastic number. You know, one of the things that I wonder is, going forward, you know, how do you see this expanding and growing and building upon the success that you had with these tools in IBM?
Yeah. There are so many things, you know, every day we can see a new AI tool running, coming. We talk about ChatGPT and stuff like this, so there are a lot of things to do. But just to be very pragmatic and to answer to your question in a very pragmatic way, again, let me do a couple of examples. The first one is software-defined network. Software-defined network is really state-of-the-art today. And if you look at software-defined network, is a bunch of resources that need to be managed proactively, and at the end of the day, we must guarantee the overall performance of the network. So again, it's more or less like what we talk about for the IT infrastructure. There is a tool named SaveOne, which is doing exactly this balance, and that's what we want to include in our offer to the customer. The second example is about software licenses. At the end of the day, software licenses could be a mess for the customer. Sometimes they lose control. And again, this is not more related to the sustainability of these resources, I mean software licenses, but it's more related to the overall efficiency of the business, of the IT support of the business for the client. So we know there is Flexera, which is another tool supported by IBM, which is exactly dealing this bench of resources, which is the software licenses, and that's the other topic that we want to address as soon as possible.
It's really amazing to see how you're building upon and expanding this suite of IT automation products we have together. You know, just in closing, there's one other thing that you and I were talking about that was very profound to me when I heard it. So Turbonomic helps right-size your workload and achieve cost savings through that. Maybe you need to expand it because you're under provision, but you have different performance problem in that scenario. And this profound thing was like, you know, Turbonomic saved me $500,000 this year in compute usage. But the more profound next level thing is it didn't save me 500,000, or you, I should say, 500,000 in one shot. It saved $100 through 5,000 actions, right? And this gets in back to the human labor savings and helping people be more effective. No IT operators are going and finding all these little $100 tweaks to the cloud spend things. So really powerful story, and we appreciate your time and your business. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you to you.
Thanks, Francesco.